Now we move to the color Doppler optimization. The question is here why the color Doppler is required. Color Doppler is required because it demonstrates the blood flow, either it is anterograde flow or the retrograde flow, or it is laminar or the turbulent flow. So the color flow across the AV valves and VA valve, is it regurgitant or the stenotic, or there is a flow across the interatrial septum or the interventricular septum, or the flow across the small vessels where the grayscale is unable to conclude. So the color Doppler depends upon the following options like color box, color gain, wall motion filter, velocity scale, balance, and angle of insonation. As far as color Doppler is concerned, when we apply this option, the frame rate ultimately decreases. In order to avoid such practice, we always keep the color Doppler box only cover the region of interest so that the frame rate may not be too low. Now start the color Doppler. Here we can see that if the color box is too high, we are unable to judge any ambiguity across the AV valves, across the septum. This is the four-chamber view. You can see it's not clear. We are unable to deduct any shunt across the valves, AV valves, or the septum, or in the pulmonary veins also. Here we use the small color box. We can see easily that there is no AV valve stenosis or regurgitation, or we can also see the interatrial or interventricular septum here clearly in the small, or in the color box only on the region of interest. Now moving to the color gain, we should be we should set it low, gradually increase until we get required setting. Increase color gain, increase the possibility of the error. Of high color gain, we are unable to identify what the what is going on, is the shunt is normal, laminar, or the turbulent, or there is septal defect or not. This is already discussed that color flow or color gain should be started from the low scale. It helps us to make the image clear or identify if there is any septal defect or shunt across, or there is turbulent flow across AV valves or across the septum. Number third is the wall motion filter. Wall motion filter eliminate the signal from the wall and the low velocities. Number four is the velocity scale. Velocity scale determine the range of mean velocity. It should be kept high, at least 50 centimeter per second on the on at the level across the LVOT or the RVOT, triple vessel, or the AV valves. The velocity scale or the PRF should be kept low across the pulmonary veins, bicable, and the interatrial septum and interventricular septum. It should be less than 30 centimeter per second. This is the example of high PRF across the AV valves, which is highly recommended more than 50 centimeter per second, or across the LVOT or RVOT or the triple vessel view, the PRF should be more than 50 centimeter per second. The velocity scale or the PRF should be less than 30 across the bicable view or the pulmonary veins, which are the low velocity areas. We can easily assess the blood flow by lessening the PRF. These are the pulmonary veins which can be easily delineated by lessening or reducing the PRF less than 30 centimeter per second. Now we move to the balance. Balance, what is the balance? Balance is between the grayscale or the color. It means that how much grayscale information we required or how much color scale information we required. Higher the balance means that it shows more color information, or low balance means that we it gives us more information about the grayscale. And lastly is the angle of insonation. So the heart should be placed in the direction of color flow, so the angle of insonation should be assessed well. This is the example of angle of insonation. Here in this picture we see apical four-chamber view, the flow parallel to the angle of insonation, laminar flow, no turbulent flow across the valves or the septum. This is the end of the session. I will inshallah come with more informative session soon. Allah Hafiz.